It's the summer of 2003 and the town of Elkin, North Carolina, has been overwhelmed by a swarm of cicadas. Normally bird and mammal predators would be having a field day picking off these tasty morsels. But strangely enough, no one's eating them. It's as if the cicadas aren't really there. What's going on? These are periodic cicadas, so called because they've come up with an ingenious strategy to outwit their enemies. But to see it in action, we have to go back in time, half a century. It's 1952 and the town of Elkin looks very different. The only familiar things are the cicadas. The residents of Elkin might have time on their hands, but the adult cicadas have no time to lose. They only have 3 more weeks to complete their life cycle. First they must find a partner, which they do with their own chirpy little number.
The moment that you danced by, I felt a thrill. And when you caught my eye, my heart stood still. Once again.
Once they've mated, the females lay all their eggs in the branches of trees.
And I knew the spark of love was still there.
After they've hatched, the larvae fall to the ground and bury themselves. This in itself isn't unusual, but what happens next is. If we whiz through to the same time the following year, 1953, the fashions have moved on, but the cicadas are nowhere to be seen. In fact, we have to fast forward 17 years to 1969 before there is any sign of them again. While Neil Armstrong takes his first steps on the moon, back on Earth people are celebrating the summer of love. The cicadas have also emerged for their own summer loving. The world has moved on, but the cicadas go through the same old routine. Once again, the nymphs bury themselves and disappear from view. But for how long will it be this time? In 1986, exactly 17 years later, they reappear. How on earth can the next generation, buried deep underground, measure the passing of time so accurately? It's now thought that the cicadas pick up cues from the yearly rise and fall of sap in plant roots. Yep, these guys are actually counting. It's only when they've counted another 17 years that these little time travelers appear again. We're back to where we started in 2003. But what's the reason for taking time out for so long? Well, since they show up so rarely, no animal can rely on them as a source of food. In fact, most animals wouldn't even recognize them as food. They might have seen this sight only once in a lifetime. With little to threaten them, the nymphs move into position for the last stage of their development. Here they can time travel and emerge into adulthood in peace. By morning, the whole town of Elkin is littered with their discarded nymphal shells. As long as they can accurately count up to 17 and emerge altogether, they will outwit any potential predators. It's not just mathematically brilliant, it's biologically clever. Periodic cicadas have, quite literally, calculated how to stay out of other creatures' mouths and in the race against time. By time traveling through 3 generations of cicadas, we've unlocked the secret of their success.